Right now, you are bored. Maybe not this second, but today, at some point you felt it. That restless, hollow, slightly uncomfortable itch that makes you reach for your phone before you even realize you're doing it. That feeling you've probably spent your entire adult life trying to escape. And here's what nobody tells you. That feeling is one of the most sophisticated survival tools your species ever evolved. Boredom isn't a flaw. It isn't a sign of a weak mind or a wasted afternoon. It is an ancient biological alarm system, and it has been quietly running in the background of human consciousness for hundreds of thousands of years. So why does it feel so bad? That's exactly the right question. And the answer reaches back further than you can probably imagine. Your ancestors didn't have calendars. They didn't have deadlines or inbox notifications or subscription queues. What they had was time. Enormous, dangerous stretches of unstructured time between hunting, foraging, resting, and surviving. And in that environment, stillness was a warning sign. Stillness meant you had stopped moving. Stillness meant you were vulnerable. Your nervous system learned, over millennia, to treat inactivity as a threat. Boredom is the biological consequence of that learning. It is your brain scanning the environment, detecting a lack of meaningful stimulation, and then firing off a signal, not a polite suggestion, but an urgent, uncomfortable push telling you to move, to explore, to do something. Think of it as your internal threat detector running a diagnostic. No input detected, no reward on the horizon, no clear path forward. Alert, alert, alert. The neuroscientist John Eastwood at York University spent years studying exactly this. His research defines boredom as the aversive experience of wanting, but being unable to engage in satisfying activity. It is not laziness. It is not emptiness. It is a state of frustrated desire, a signal that your brain believes you should be doing something more meaningful than what you're currently doing, or not doing. That distinction matters more than you think. Because your brain doesn't care about your Netflix queue. It doesn't know what the internet is. It is running ancient software on modern hardware, and that software was built for a world where every idle moment had consequences. If you stopped moving in the savannah, something might eat you. If your tribe sat still too long, the food supply would run out. If you let days pass without scouting new territory, you might miss the berry patch that kept your family alive through winter. Boredom was the engine. Survival was the destination. Here's what's genuinely strange. Boredom doesn't feel motivating. It feels awful. And that's the entire point. Your brain evolved to make stillness uncomfortable on purpose, not as punishment, as a launch mechanism. In 2014, Timothy Wilson at the University of Virginia ran one of the most quietly disturbing experiments in modern psychology. He put people alone in a room with nothing to do. No phone, no book, no music, just their own thoughts. Most people couldn't stand it. And here's the part that stunned researchers. A significant portion of the participants, when given the option to press a button that would deliver a mild electric shock just to have something happen, chose the shock. They chose pain over pure boredom. Read that again. They chose pain. That is how powerfully your brain rejects emptiness. That is how deeply the drive to engage is wired into you. Pain, at least, is input. Pain, at least, confirms that something is happening. Boredom is the absence of everything, and your ancient brain cannot tolerate that absence without sounding the alarm. But here's where it gets interesting. Because boredom is not just a push away from nothing. It is a pull towards something. And what it pulls you toward has shaped the entire arc of human civilization. Every tool your species ever invented started in a moment of restless, directionless, unstructured time. Every story, every piece of music, every map of the stars, every philosophical question that eventually became a scientific answer, all of it began not with ambition, but with boredom. The anthropologist Pascal Boyer has argued that much of early human symbolic and creative behavior, the cave paintings, the ritual objects, the early musical instruments, emerged from exactly this state. When there was nothing to do, the human brain didn't switch off. It turned inward. It started playing. It started imagining. It started asking, what if? Boredom is the birthplace of creativity. Not inspiration. Not talent. Boredom. Your brain, unable to find stimulation in the external world, starts generating its own. It starts making connections between unrelated things. It starts running simulations of futures that don't exist yet. It wanders. And wandering, it turns out, is one of the most cognitively sophisticated things.